and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Monday, March 24th. We begin with a deadly shooting on Indy's Near East Side. IMPD found a man fatally shot just before 5 yesterday morning on the front porch of a home. That home is on North Arsenal Avenue near East New York Street. Police detained a person of interest at the scene and later arrested that person for their involvement. Police have not released that person's name or the nature of the charges. And now to a story I-Team 8 has been following. Mail carriers across the country and right here in Indiana are protesting what they say are efforts to privatize the Postal Service. Hundreds of letter carriers held demonstrations at the State House and in Fishers yesterday. News 8's Kyla Russell reports.
Protesters here in Indiana have one message for President Donald Trump. Keep your hands off the Postal Service.
We're mandated by law to deliver mail to every residence and business 6 days a week. That would make that impossible to do.
That's Paul Toms. He's the president of Indy's branch of the National Association of Letter Carriers. He and others organized protests in Fishers and at the State House, pushing against privatizing the Postal Service. The union organized demonstrations in all 50 states on Sunday as a part of its Fight Like Hell campaign.
If we got privatized, there's no guarantee people in rural areas, people in different areas wouldn't necessarily get service or wouldn't get service at the same price.
President Trump has long talked about privatizing the 250-year-old service and renewed concerns when he said the new Commerce Secretary should oversee USPS. The Postal Service is independent and has long been overseen by a board of governors, not a cabinet secretary.
He's going to look at it. He's got a great business instinct, which is what we need. And he'll be looking at it, and we think we can turn it around. But it is the Postal Service. I mean, we're leaving the Postal Service, but we're losing so much money with the Postal Service.
USPS has seen billions in annual losses, about $9.5 billion last fiscal year. The U.S. Postmaster General also signed an agreement with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to make cuts to the agency,
which is a threat to all postal jobs, which are 640,000 of those.
And about 12,000 here in Indiana.
That's going to increase shipping costs, which will negatively impact inflation. Inflation's going to rise.
It comes as the USPS distribution center on Indy's east side has faced months of delays, leading to widespread frustration.
Mail service to millions of households and businesses would be affected by it.
Paul says the changes may mean some people don't get essentials like medication, checks, or ballots in the mail. Reporting here in Indianapolis, I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
On to some international news. 88-year-old Pope Francis is back home this morning after a 5-week hospital stay. Doctors say his recovery at the Vatican will take at least 2 more months. They have also advised him not to meet with large groups, but they say he should be able to resume other normal activities soon. Back here at the State House, the Senate is scheduled to take a final vote on a new law that could change how Indiana handles undocumented immigrants. The House has already passed a version, and it has the governor's support. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez reports.
House Bill 1393 would require local law enforcement officers to report to their county sheriff if they believe someone that they arrested is in the country illegally. The county sheriff would then be required to report that information to federal law enforcement officials. State senators also approved an amendment to the bill that would allow local officers to arrest someone for a misdemeanor if they believe they are undocumented, instead of just issuing a court summons. The bill comes as the federal government under the Trump administration continues its national crackdown on illegal immigration. Governor Mike Braun has echoed the president's calls for tougher policies. Braun signed an executive order back in January saying that local law enforcement agencies should cooperate with ICE. Meanwhile, opponents of the bill include the ACLU of Indiana. They argue it could lead to an increase in racial profiling from police officers. HB 1393 is one of about 20 House bills up for a final vote in the Senate this afternoon. If passed, the House would need to vote on the bill again to approve changes made by the Senate. Coming up next hour, we've also been tracking a proposal that would separate the town of Cumberland from the metro government in Indianapolis and Marion County. That's also up for a final vote today in the state Senate. Reporting from the State House, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for WishTV, WishTV.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
In Hamilton County, the Carmel Clay School Board is set to vote on renovations to several schools. That includes district-wide pavement improvements, along with upgrades to high school classrooms and the Greyhound Activity Center. The school board will meet today at 6 p.m. at the Educational Services Center. If you want your voice to be heard, you will need to register in advance in order to speak at the meeting. Let's talk sports. The Fighting Irish are headed to their fourth straight Women's Sweet 16 after taking down Michigan. Notre Dame came out strong in South Bend yesterday, with Hannah Hidalgo leading the charge, racking up a 20-point lead in just the first quarter. Michigan just could not keep up. The Fighting Irish cruised to a 76-55 win. They will take on number 2 seed TCU this Saturday in Birmingham, Alabama. The Purdue men are also headed back to the Sweet 16, and they could be playing their games in front of a heavily home crowd. Purdue will play in the Midwest Regional here in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Boilermakers will take on top seed Houston in the late game this Friday night. The winner of that game will take on the winner of Kentucky and Tennessee for the right to move on to the men's Final Four. When it comes to the weather, an improvement from yesterday. Storm Track 8 says it will be a mostly sunny but breezy day. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
37 in Plainfield, 38 in Fishers, and 38 in Greenfield. These are all typical late March, early morning numbers, okay? So you'll need the coat for sure, but this is standard for this time of year. 37 in Lafayette, 36 in Kokomo, 39 in Muncie, 41 Shelbyville, and 40 currently in Bloomington. In terms of the winds, it's not terrible now. It is noticeable, especially north of Indianapolis. Sustained winds around 17 to 18 miles per hour from Kokomo to Fort Wayne to South Bend. Those numbers will continue to increase. It's also going to kind of fill in down to the south. So statewide, we'll be dealing with some of these gusty winds throughout the day. But I do think, even though we have a little bit of cloud cover overhead, I do think we are going to clear the sky out for most of our state as we are stuck between this area of low pressure and this ridge of high pressure. And so that's going to be kind of the wind tunnel. You can see those wind arrows really picking up in between, everything getting funneled in between there. And so that's where our wind gusts are going to kind of come from today. But we should have a decent amount of sunshine here through the 8 o'clock hour. Upper 30s through 8 o'clock this morning. So chilly. I do have us up to around 53 later on this afternoon. Normal high for this date is around 55. So we're only a couple degrees shy. We're right where we should be for this time of year. I have several rain opportunities. Could come as early as overnight tonight. It gets very mild to wrap up this week. And with that, we might have more rain chances, maybe some thunderstorm risks, maybe some severe weather chances. We'll kind of walk you through all of that in my Storm Track 8 forecast coming your way in just a few minutes.
To get a peek at Marcus Bailey's full forecast, just head over to WishTV.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Monday, March 24th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, WishTV.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.